digital. A part who are present here can come. Those suppose this GM UCO Bank is joining from Kolkata, or Mr. Pradhan IOB GM is joining from Chennai. They may join here, sir. And those who are here and able to come, we can have both, sir. That may be the best combination.
That is a new norm actually. Like other day, one of the IIM professor was telling, they have this classroom like that about 20-30% are attending physically, remaining are connecting digitally, like virtually. So that kind of things are becoming new normal now.
Yes, sir. We are also trying to upgrade this training program towards that, sir. To upgrading our own room where we generally impart training, our studio. That has to be upgraded also, sir, to that extent.
Yes.
Some network issues he is joining.
Yeah. Sir, like you, sir, he is also trying to join, sir. He is telling that give me 30 seconds. So we'll see, sir.
Yeah. Actually, our people are struggling for 5-10 minutes. There is some issue in connecting.
Sir, somehow this Zoom connectivity is little easier than WebEx. I do not know, sir, reason.
Yes, I agree with you.
But generally, sir, when we have RBI and State Bank, these two banks, we generally go for WebEx. Because RBI do not prefer Zoom. I don't know the reason exactly. I think, sir.
He is joining.
Mr. Giridharan, you are able to hear us?
Yes, certainly I'm able to hear you.
And see you also. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Giridharan. We have joined by Sri Rajkiran Rai ji, and the panelists have also joined, and attendees. It is the more than 100 participants will be joining today in HR conference from various banks. All the banks, in fact, PSUs, the private sector, cooperative banks, small finance banks. So it is a brainstorming session which happens annually on behalf of IIBF, not only to take feedback for the courses which has been rolled out by IIBF, also to see in future, going forward, what are we are supposed to do. Welcome you, sir. From RBI, naturally, it will be a great opportunity to hear to us. With your permission, sir, we can start the meeting.
Oh, thank you. Please start.
Yeah, right, sir. Over to Preeti.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and a warm welcome to the Conference of Heads of HR and Training Departments of Banks and Financial Institutions. I am Dr. Preeti Agarwal, your host for the event, and take the pleasure in welcoming you all to the HR conference on the theme, Transforming HR in the Digital World. To stay competitive, financial services organizations are modernizing their architecture to support cutting-edge digital services and a seamless customer experience. HR digital transformation is the process of changing operational HR processes to become automated and data-driven. Although digital transformation is heavily technology-centered, it's a mistake to only focus on the roles and departments that are tech-intensive. Digital transformations are just as much about the people as they are about the technology. While bankers as a community has always played the role of a catalyst for moving the wheels of the economy, and today we are humbled to have the august presence of the esteemed delegates from various banks and financial institutions. We are extremely privileged to welcome Mr. Rajkiran Rai ji, MD and CEO, Union Bank of India and President IIBF, and Sri R. Giridharan, GM HR, Reserve Bank of India. Thank you, sirs, for your precious time. I now request Mr. Viswaketan Das, CEO, IIBF, to render the welcome address. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Preeti. Respected Sri Rajkiran Rai, MD and CEO of Union Bank, Sri R. Giridharan, GM HR, RBI, all the senior functionaries and participants joining from different banks, I welcome you all to this annual conference of IIBF consisting of HR personnel. I have been joined by the entire team of academics headed by Dr. Muralidharan and the training team, which is headed by Mr. Prakash Malhotra. We have also been joined by the exam team and lessons from IIBF and all the participants. Among the top three banks, the improvement in the March baseline, the tech-enabled ease of banking, smart lending for aspiring India, and deepening FI and customer protection. And the most importantly, the award won by Union Bank India as ranked first is the governance and outcome-centric HR. So who else is better than Sri Rai to address all of us today? I congratulate Sri Rai on behalf of all the participants and from on behalf of IIBF, sir. We are proud to have you as the chief guest in the HR conference with the theme Transforming HR in the Digital World. A person with unmatched leadership qualities, Sri Rai has done many hats. He is the chairman of IBA, president of IIBF, president of IBPS, to name a few, member of many important committees instituted by the government and RBI. At a time when banks are at the crossroads, threatened by technological innovations and increased competition from various sides, the changing customer expectations, Sri Rai is playing a crucial role in reshaping the strategy for transformation of banks, in sync with the newly unveiled EASE 4.0 by Honorable Finance Minister. As the president of the institute, he has been the moving force, a true guide and mentor to us. He is one of the finest human beings I have known. Thank you, sir, for joining us. I also welcome Sri R. Giridharan, the GM HR from RBI. I place on record the support received from the representatives from RBI at various committees of IIBF, more particularly in research and academic wings. I personally place on record the contribution of Sri Vivek Deep, the ED RBI, who is the pioneer in developing one of the soft skill development programs of IIBF. I am thankful to Sri Giridharan, GM HR of RBI, for agreeing to attend our conference and share his views. Just for the information of all the participants, the governor of RBI used to be the president of IIBF for quite a long time, till Mr. Rangarajan decided it will be best served if the commercial banks will head the IIBF, because it is meant for them. I also, a little later, we will also welcome Dr. George Sebastian, the director of XLRI Xavier School of Business, Delhi. XLRI is known for its pioneering research and education in the field of HR management. I take this opportunity to welcome all the dignitaries joining from various banks, more particularly to our panel members, Ms. Lakshmi R. Srinivas, CGM and Head STU of SBI, and her entire team, Ms. Archana Sirur, Executive Vice President HR of HDFC Bank, Ms. Paul R. Varghese, CGM, Head and SLC, Saraswat Cooperative Banks. Along with these panelists, we have also the senior officials from different banks. Let me name the few. From Bank of India, the GM HR, Sri A.K. Pathak, CGM HR from Canara Bank, Sri LVR Prasad, GM from Indian Bank, Mr. T. Dhanraj, GM HRD of NABARD, Mr. Purakunath, CHRO and CFO of India Post Payment Bank, Ms. Sima Singh. We have also with us the head of HR of the India Post Payment Bank, Sri Harpreet Singh. We have the GM HR UCO Bank, who is also a force with us, coordinator, Mr. Naresh Kumar. We have Mr. Ravindra Kumar Pradhan, GM HR from Indian Overseas Bank. Mr. Sangram Pradhan, Senior President from Yes Bank. We have also Mr. Jose AV from ISAF One Finance Bank. We have Mr. Ashok Kumar from Mannapuram Finance. We have Mr. Swapna Bandapadhyay from Bank of Baroda. We have the entire team of Indian Bank headed by Mr. Dhanraj. The Canara Bank is also represented by Mr. Prasad. And close to 111 participants will be joining here, sir. And I welcome all of them. I also welcome the prize winners who will be joining in this conference, who have won prizes in various competitions and examinations, the research fellowships from IIBF. I also welcome the team IIBF, Mr. Dr. Mullidharan, Mr. Prakash Mehrotra, Dr. S. Galande, Mr. Francis, and Mr. Bhatia from examination team. Welcome all to this conference. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, sir, for your earnest welcome address. May I now request Rajkiran Rai ji, MD and CEO, Union Bank of India and President IIBF, to deliver the inaugural address. Over to you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Das, for welcoming me to this call. And ladies and gentlemen, very good afternoon to everyone. It is my pleasure to be amidst all of you today. I'm happy to note that IIBF has convened this HR conference, wherein we expect to get some valuable insights from the industry leaders on a very, very important theme, transforming HR in the digital world. I welcome the participants to the conference. The pandemic has changed the way we work. The HR practices, which were introduced a year ago, primarily as business continuity measures in view of the lockdowns, such as work from home, web meetings and conferences, etc., have now transformed into the new normal. Professional interactions, both internal and external, have mostly turned virtual. The digital age has certainly arrived. So now the challenge in front of us is transforming the HR in the digital world. The changes we see today have a long time in making. Banking, like other industries, have seen transformative changes with the deepening of information and communication technologies. Unique digital identity, universal reach of mobile telephony, and cheap data costs have meant enhanced adoption of digital channels for banking. These together have led to new service paradigm, wherein conventional banks have co-opted niche tech services providers for efficiency and last mile service delivery. Besides, a new architecture is taking shape with consent-based digital exchange of financial data of consumers, also called open banking. India has seen its potential with unified payment interface, what we famously call as UPI, revolutionizing payment space. It is just a beginning, though an open banking application beckon across the value chain. The changing banking models towards a specialized service provider would require a pool of specialized workforce to meet the same. It has implications for the human resource management. Banks may not need the huge manpower base of today to serve clients of tomorrow. As mundane roles get increasingly automated, bank manpower will be freed for more value-adding activities like advisory, sales, credit, and technology development. Accordingly, hiring preferences could shift towards specialized professionals instead of bulk hiring for generalists. Performance management and promotion to senior roles will also change accordingly. Existing set of bankers will need to upgrade their digital, risk, credit, marketing skills more frequently. With the growing application of new age technologies like 5G, artificial intelligence, digital currencies, blockchain, etc., there is need to equip our workforce to possess strong technical know-how for roles such as data analysts, software developers, cyber security experts, robotics experts, and user experience designers, etc. Our training capacities must upgrade in line with changing structure of work, marrying employees' own motivation to develop, progress, and acquire new skills with the organization's requirement. Our banks have to make tough decisions about which skills and capabilities to be developed in-house and in which to contract outside or hire in. Digital era calls for different strengths and skills from leaders. Digital age leaders need to show much more fluid, collaborative, and agile approach to managing teams that are young, diverse, and work at different time and place. Digital era leaders should have innovation mindset and risk-taking capacity to lead amidst technological disruption. It called for relook in leadership training to prepare new set of leaders. New HR strategies may have to be evolved and implemented at different stages of human resource management. The strategies will have to be robust yet flexible to meet the emerging challenges. I'm sure that HR conference will have some good learning takeaways, and distinguished panel today will deliberate inter alia on the nuances of demarcating the professional from the personal lives of the bankers when our homes have turned into our offices. The HR conference, which is organized by IIBF annually, not only enables the institute to showcase its initiatives, but also enables the institute to obtain valuable feedback from bankers. This enables IIBF to design courses and training programs to meet the expectations of banks. I would now like to share with all of you, my perspectives on some of the initiatives taken by IIBF. Introduction of professional banker qualification. Professional banker will be a gold level aspirational qualification introduced by the institute with the twin objective of bridging the skill gap in the mid-management level and to aid in continuous professional development. There will be different job family based tracks for achieving the professional banker qualification. While maintaining due academic rigor, in my considered opinion, this qualification is unique and is expected to plug the long felt skill gap in the mid-management levels. Introduction of additional certificate courses. The institute has also introduced 2 new certificate courses on strategic management and innovation in banking, emerging technologies. These certificate courses are specifically designed to align the knowledge base of the bankers with the current developments in the banking domain, especially the aspect of technology-led innovations that promises to reshape the traditional brick and mortar model of banking. And the focus on e-learning. E-learning has emerged as an effective and powerful pedagogical tool recently, especially in the backdrop of pandemic-led disruptions. Considering the growing acceptability of e-learning, the institute has initiated the process of introducing new e-learning modules with an objective to provide an even more immersive and informative learning experience to the candidates, especially for critical topics like risk management, treasury management, emerging technologies, and branch operations. Also, institute is in the progress of redesigning the syllabi of its flagship programs, JAB and CAB, to make them more contemporary and relevant. Additionally, the institute also initiated the process of redesigning the syllabi of its capacity building courses as well. Joint certification programs. The institute has tied up with XLRI to offer a program on soft skills involving leadership, team building with an emphasis on banking professionals at the mid-level. The objective of the program is to transform good managers in banks into effective leaders with a human-centric approach. The institute will be collaborating with Jawaharlal Bajaj Institute of Management Studies to deliver a short duration management development program on advanced strategic leadership for top executives of banks, financial institutions, and NBFCs. The institute has collaborated with Global Association of Risk Professionals (GRP) to facilitate the upgradation of the working knowledge of bankers in India in the risk management domain through a specifically designed program, namely FRR, that is Financial Risk and Regulations. Further collaborations, the institute is also in the process of collaborating with National Institute of Securities Market and National Insurance Agency to develop a unique all-inclusive course on BFSI. Bankers are knowledge workers. Every bank should encourage its employees to upgrade their skills regularly. In view of the fast-changing banking scenario, the role of education and training has assumed great importance to keep oneself up to date. The IIBF, with its rich legacy and contemporary courseware and training programs, continues to play a vital role in serving the interests of banking industry. All banks may therefore consider suitably incentivizing its employees for acquiring the specialized qualifications offered by IIBF. It will be mutually rewarding exercise for both the bank and its employees. Further details will be explained by the CEO IIBF during the course of this meeting. I also noticed from the program schedule that the prize winners for the IIBF examinations and research programs will be felicitated today, and I like to congratulate all these prize winners for their success. And to conclude, in my inaugural remarks today, I have shared with you a glimpse of changes around which are redefining banking both for customers and as well as service providers. Our HR management must keep abreast with changing ecosystem and prepare our workforce accordingly. This conference is one such initiative that aims to provide a platform for exchange of new ideas and devising the execution strategies. I am positive that there will be several takeaways from this conference, which will help shape HR practices for tomorrow. I wish all the participants an engaging day ahead. Thank you, and a word of appreciation for Mr. Vishwaketan Das for really changing the face of IIBF, introducing a lot of innovations and bringing a lot of energy into this organization. All the very best, Mr. Das and your team. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Your speech has always been impactful, and you have already set the tone for this conference. So education is the most powerful weapon, as you rightly said, which can be used to change the face of the banking. I think EASE 4.0 stresses on digitization and 24/7 banking operations. So maybe, sir, we will deliberate a little more on this, how we can transform the banking by transferring the employees itself. Because any organization is not only consists of the employees, the competence of the employees will be the key for the sustenance of the organization. Thank you so much, sir, for your address. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for a very interesting and thought-provoking address. Today we are also privileged to welcome Mr. R. Giridharan, GM HRI from Reserve Bank of India. He is a general manager in Reserve Bank of India with an experience in Department of Supervision, Banking Ombudsman, member of faculty in College of Agricultural Banking, Pune. He is certified in Emotional Intelligence by MBTI. He is also an executive coach and a counselor. He is also an international sports commentator on All India Radio and a panelist on Doordarshan. He has recently authored a murder mystery thriller called Right Under Your Nose. Welcome you, sir. Over to you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the flattering introduction and the privilege of speaking to all the senior bankers on this forum of IIBF. So generally, as you said that, and the cricket commentator and all. So often people would tell me that you people in the banking industry, especially the HR, are always out for a duck. So then I told them, yes, I'm very proud that we in the banking industry are like ducks, because ducks have got one great feature. I think we just wanted to show a small video. I hope that video is shown from the other end. See, if you look at a duck on the surface, it will look very serene, very sober, and absolutely static and flowing in a fluid motion. So outside it will look something like, nothing is happening. But if you look at the legs below the water, they will be paddling furiously. All the time they will be paddling very furiously with great amount of energy. So somewhere we people in banking in general and the HR people in banking are like those ducks only. All the time they are paddling furiously. And on the face of it, everyone thinks कि भाई कुछ लोग ये कुछ नहीं करते हैं, because everything is happening so smooth, more so in the digital era. When everything happens so smooth, then people don't really know how well the HR people are functioning. Now, one of the things that has happened in the digital era is that there has been a shift in the mindsets of people. So our customers to whom we are trying to address, they have moved from a shift from scarcity to abundance. There was a time when people would say that I cannot spend 5 paisa. Today, people are ready to throw any amount of money. So this from scarcity to abundance. From standard product to a customization. No more are customers ready that I will just have one standard product which the banker is giving. We could say in the past, some 20 years ago, 25 years ago, this is the product we are having in the bank. But today's customers start demanding that why can't we have this additional feature or that, etc. So the shift has taken place in especially in the digital era. The shift has taken place from a standardization towards a customization. And digitization has created another issue for all of us. And that issue is that the convenience is something that the customers are demanding. But convenience, when we try to give convenience through the digital part, we have to see whether we are able to meet the costs. Whether we are able to meet the cost, because if we give convenience, there is an element of cost involved. With the cost, there is also a security involved. A customer might say, I want a credit card or I want a debit card without a PIN number. But we have to see whether, while it is very convenient for him to have a credit card without a PIN, we will have to look at the security angle. So this balancing which has started happening as things have become digitized is another issue that we at the HR are trying to take place. Now, HR has generally one aspect. HR is, during this digitization, has become both transformational and multiplier. I consider it a multiplier because the way we are able to reach out to people, that is really multiplying. So it is somewhere it has become, in the digitization era, it is a multiplier. It is a transformational in the sense that all distances have got bridged. You can be at home, you can be in the hospital, you can be in the mall, but still you are in office. This is an unusual situation that has come because of the digitization that has happened. But for the HR people and the HR operations, one small issue has happened. While we are all aiming for big things, everybody is aiming for big things. But we get irritated and fret over very small things like connectivity. So, one hand, बड़ा सोचते हैं, पर छोटे-छोटे चीज पे we are beginning to fret. Customers think they know everything and we know nothing. So, it is this quagmire or quadrant that with this digitization, which we will have to tackle. Now, somebody in digitization, what I feel that we probably in the banking industry and general HR people have to, the skills we have to develop will be of counseling, because more and more employees are going to have mental stress. In this era of digitization, there will be greater amount of mental stress. There will be greater amount of certain diseases like spondylitis. So somewhere we have to start catering to these two problems. We must plan in advance. Currently, in the banking industry fraternity, I know that these are not very well developed facilities. So employee assistance program, I think somewhere it has to start off in the banking industry, and maybe IIBF could take some kind of a lead in this. And I just want to convey this particular thought in greater earnest, because this is what is affecting people more than anything else in this era. Now, we would have a couple of other challenges also. We would have a couple of other challenges also in HR, and that is actually, while digitization in one way improves communication, on another way it is the biggest communication stumbling block, because there are no face-to-face interactions, and there is a possibility of greater amount of misunderstanding and currently there is no focus in an interaction. Earlier 3 of us would sit in a room, now 30-40 of us are in that same virtual room. So there is no ownership among the participants in a discussion, and it is also becoming increasingly difficult to have more intense interactions as we would be having in a room. So this has, and in some ways many people feel that they are not getting an opportunity to express. So certain emotions get bottled inside, and that can lead to a kind of alienation from the institution, and that could bring down a productivity, which is also a concern for us in the digital era. So generally, when I was spoken to by Murli, and of course Mr. Murli Dharan, and I'll take the liberty of calling him Murli. So Murli told me that, sir, you must take only 15 minutes and say. I said, fine. So what I feel is, the solution for all the problems of digitization, especially basically, is a Murli based solution. So when I say Murli based solution, I say M is for modulation. Because in this digitization era, we will have to modulate as the corona wave is beginning to recede at some point or other. How much can we have on digitization and how much can we have on the face-to-face? We would also need to understand the emerging landscape as to how much bandwidth we have to increase, how much security we require, what convenience we do. So understanding the U is another exceedingly important aspect in the coming times. Having understood, our response time will have to be very quick. So R is for respond over here. So we will have to respond probably in double quick time. And now what happens, we also need to both compete and collaborate. We cannot just stay in isolation. We have to compete, we have to collaborate, we have to coordinate. So therefore the A I would put is for assimilation. So we would need to completely assimilate. In the digital era, attention is extremely short, because people will switch from one mouse to another. They will be on the laptop, they will be on the mobile, they will be on the screen. So therefore, what will be most important is a catchy label. So L, we will need to have a label for everything. Once you put a label, then the minds automatically go towards the label. But to make this change from this into this digitization and post-digitization and a combined digitization come face-to-face era that is going to come, we would need to introspect a great deal, and that is the I in the introspect. So I think I would like to thank Murli by bringing out the Murli formula for meeting the challenges in the digital HR. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Giridharan. There is a surprise versatility in your speech. And rightly said, actually, you touched upon a very important point of EQ. Is often neglected in our training system, which actually plays a major role in the development of the employee.
I am there at your disposal, sir, for that.
Yes, I was just, we are not aware of that. We will take the help of you because there are not many trainers in EQ, particularly. Thank you. And regarding this, the dogs you have referred to, actually, I had a brief stint in HR. HR, the scope of HR is actually very extensive and wide. But most of the times I have not seen them getting bouquets. Most of the time they get brickbats for whatever, I think. So the HR is that it is like air. You will only understand when it is not there. Otherwise, if HR is there, everybody feels that, okay, HR has to do everything. Thank you for bringing the HR into the forefront. Thank you. Yes, please.
Giridharan sir, with your due permission, can I play the video of the ducks so that your words will be picturized
Sure,
in
sure.
front of everyone?
Please do, please do.
Thank you so much, sir.
A duck looks so beautiful when it stays afloat on the water, doesn't it? Well, can you see what's going on below the water? Actually, the duck is flapping its little feet quickly to stay above the water. This is where the name of duck syndrome comes from. A duck looks so beautiful when it stays afloat on the water, doesn't it? Well, can you see what's going on below the water? Actually, the duck is flapping its little feet quickly to stay above the water. This is where the name of duck syndrome comes from.
Very nice.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for sharing your valuable thoughts and enlightening us all.
My pleasure and my privilege. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. I, on behalf of the Institute and on my own behalf, would like to express my sincere thanks to our chief guest, Mr. Rajkiran Rai ji, and Mr. R. Giridharan from Reserve Bank of India for kindly accepting our invitation and gracing the event. Thank you so much, sir, for your kind presence. The Institute has been organizing the meeting of the HR and training heads of the banks and financial institutions, as has been mentioned rightly by our president. It is an annual event wherein we like to take the feedback about the relevance and effectiveness of the Institute's courses and also to know the industry's requirements so that we can address the emerging challenges. The meet has always been well appreciated with many senior HR executives participating. This has helped the Institute to understand the industry requirements, identify and prioritize the requirements of the banking fraternity. Today's HR conference in a virtual mode Today's HR conference in a virtual mode is an endeavor of sharing the new initiatives proposed to be taken by the Institute. I now request Mr. Biswaketan Das, CEO IIBF, to make a presentation showcasing the recent initiatives that has been taken by the Institute. Over to you, sir. Thank you.
Right. Thank you, Priti. The landscape of the banking is changing and changing very rapidly. The line between the banking and non-banking companies, between banking and fintech companies are getting blurred. It is the time for banks to get disrupted by the new entrants and transform themselves or to disrupt the competition. It is up to us to effectively manage the ever-increasing competition from the stakeholders like Government of India, regulators, customers. Two key aspects has to be remembered. One is adoption of technology, as rightly said by our president, which is happening so rapidly, and skilling and reskilling of employees, which was briefly touched upon by our Sri Giridharan, including the soft skills. So the role of IIBF has become crucial in the developing of skills and create a competent banking professionals going forward. The quality of human resources will be the key differentiating factor among the banks. So one of the things which we want to show before I present the products and the services which we provide